let's talk about the Honey Badger, man. The last time I think we had a Honey Badger in the SEC, they won a national championship. I could be wrong, but I think I'm spot on there. I know I miss from time to time, but I think I'm rock and roll on this one. He visited this week again. Another one that was there for a couple of days. He was visiting with Kermani McLean. There was a lot of question marks on. I think they checked the grades. They do an extensive background check. We found that out from Nick Del Toro. And then it was going to be just basically a physical, right? How does he pass his, they had some surgeries done, whatnot. The reports coming back, flowing in, is that it went fantastic, that everything is a go. And when we were talking last week with Nick, it was basically on Florida's accord to say yes. When you look at the three teams that are available here, you've got Arizona. Jeff Fish, right, who was their coach there, left to go to Washington. Arizona is a dumpster fire. I don't see how you go from Arizona State to Arizona. It doesn't make any sense, but whatever. Washington, where Fish just went, is also in a complete disarray, right? They've lost everybody. And then you got Florida, the 2024 national champions. I think it's a no-brainer on where you end up. Florida, I think, feels very confident, probably about as confident as they did 2 years ago about Kermani McLean, if I had to give it a level of confidence of landing Mr. Badger. But he's heading home for now. We'll see. Brandon, what are your thoughts and what are you hearing?
Yeah, I think Elijah Badger is going to be a Florida Gator, and I think that we're at the point where I think we're at the point
Don't
where
beat
if
around the
you
bush
aren't
there.
good, it's a whiff. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna beat around the bush. As someone who also has been pretty confident and definitely had a video come out when Cormani initially committed where I went, oh yeah, the Miami Hurricanes. And then he wound up there, and that was a really fun predicament to be in on my side as well. But I think Elijah Badger is someone that if you're Billy Napier, if you're Florida, like you convince him to commit immediately. Like once you get that Friday, or you get the letter, or you get his little commitment silently, and then he goes home, he can make his announcement whenever he wants. But I don't think you let him leave campus without making a decision, at least privately, to you, that he's going. You tell him, figure out NIL, figure out whatever. The advantage of having another proven talented receiver in this room, that ups the expectation this year. That's at least another win that you expect adding a receiver like that. And he's proven he's capable, he can do it. Make sure he's a Florida Gator, or otherwise it's a complete huge whiff.
It's Walter.
Yeah, man. You look at Elijah Badger, man. He's I go by PFF. I know Brandon loves PFF as well. He's the 61st ranked wide receiver on PFF, and that's not if you count all the guys that entered the draft. If you take them out, he's around that 40th range. So he's ranked up there pretty high. He has a 77.5 PFF score, which is for a wide receiver. And anything in the 70s, mid 70s is really, really good. And he's consistently had a 77 for 2 years straight. So it goes to show you he's a playmaker. He knows what he's doing. And, you get him in, and I think he's going to come to the University of Florida, too, from everything that I'm hearing. The staff's confident as well. So I'll go ahead and throw that one out there. But, I mean, you put him into this offense, especially with Eugene Wilson. You give two weapons that you have there on the field that defenses have to account for. And then you got all the speed, of course, the Aiden Mazzells and your Dre Hawkins probably won't touch the field. They might, maybe Aiden Mazzell. You got Burke out there, and then you got a receiver that Graham Mertz is familiar with Shamir DK. So, I mean, you got these four guys out there on the field. I mean, you're adding experience already with Elijah Badger. You got a lot of talent and a very lengthy wide receiver there. And actually, I was told that when he was visiting, he ran for Billy Gonzalez, and he ran a 4.46. Of course, that's not with pads on and all that too. But I mean, a lot of people were saying, "Oh, this guy's running a 4.6," and I'm like, "Nah, dude, he cleared a 4.4 when he visited." So I would suggest maybe with pads on, he's doing like maybe 4.5 range or so. But I mean, doesn't really matter, man. You're getting a very skilled, talented player and an experienced player, and he can add that experience and also mentor the younger kids as well. So that really helps out your offense. And man, just having an experienced a quarterback with Graham Mertz, who would have had 1,000-yard receiver if he had played in the Florida State game and the rest of the Missouri game. I could have assumed Ricky Pearsall would have had 1,000 yards. And you get a first-round draft pick in the NFL. That also adds to the, wanting him to come here to Florida. So I think it's a good situation. And as I said, I think he picks the Gators from everything that I'm hearing.
Keep in mind, I talked about it before when we started talking about a Badger. His stats are pretty incredible, just under 1,000 yards for his first 2 years as a freshman and a sophomore. Who he had throwing the ball to him his first year? Emory Jones, obviously former Gator, went to Cincinnati the following year, his second year, Jaden Rashada and whoever came in after Jaden Rashada. So it's dealt with some quarterback woes, I would say. Shout out to Emory Jones. I believe he signed with the Ravens recently. So kudos to him for locking that in. It's awesome to see that journey. It's been a long one. I mean, obviously became a Gator and just got beat out by Anthony Richardson, so no bad blood there. But look, with those with that quarterback situation, and we know Arizona State's been in a weird place for the last 2 years. Coming to this room, we had veteran presence with Ricky Pearsall, but the rest of the room has been young for the last couple of years. Now we've got Jameer DK, who's going to have not only some experience, but relationship with Graham Mertz. So I keep comparing him to Ricky in the sense of that connection. You're having Eugene Wilson come in for another year. So now he's starting to provide veteran presence, but still really going to find his rhythm this year. And now you're going to be adding, hopefully, Elijah Badger to the mix, which is just another ton of experience. And we keep sleeping on Khalil Jackson because he's not the flashy player that had all the stars coming in, but that kid's an absolute baller as well, and we can't sleep on him. And then the amount of talent, the youth that is just sitting behind these guys, chomping at the bits. The wide receiver room is just all of the rooms now with just these small little touches have become electric, in my opinion. And I talked about it, Florida being buyers in the portal. This is exactly what I meant. They are able to move at their own speed, which is tortoise-like speed, but that's okay. They're able to do that, and it's finally starting to pay off.